So I'd like to welcome everybody to the Interviews. This week we have Andrea Nixon.
Awesome.
I got it right. Cool. So
It's not easy.
thanks a lot for taking the time for us to get together.
For sure. Thank you for being here.
Really nice to be at your place,
Yeah,
shooting somewhere different for a change.
There we go.
It's awesome. I'm sure it's going to be a good interview. So tell me a little bit about yourself. How long you've been playing for?
So I started writing poetry as a young girl, probably at the age of 8, I would say. I've always had a real fascination with words. So all my life, I sort of came to understand myself and my experience through writing. I went to become a teacher with a minor in English and a major in social. And when I was home raising our children, I've got 3 children, so about 10 years ago, my daughter's almost 10, about 10 years ago, I stopped teaching and came home, and I was always singing around the house, and I was also always sang to sort of express my emotions. So I had this sort of writing and the singing side of things. And my husband said to me, well, if there's anything else you want to retrain for, this would be the time, because you're going to be home for the next few years raising kids, and you've got some time to sort of maybe change lanes a little bit.
Yep.
And I said to him, well, I'd actually like to be a singer and a songwriter. And that was not what he was expecting, because I loved university, so he was probably thinking I'm just going to go back and become a dentist, and we're going to be rich, and it's going to be awesome. And I was like, no, I've got these poems, and I've been like trying to make them sing, and I've got some melodies, and I've got some ideas, and I'd like to see where this would go. So of course, like everybody else who started open stages, and then eventually I decided I was going to join a band. At the time, classic rock was the thing, though I am a country singer. Just over 2 years ago, I had an opportunity to work with Bobby Cameron. I had sent him a demo that a fellow named Jimmy Whiffen had demoed out for me, of a song called Fire and Lace. And I sent it off to Bobby because I was looking for a producer, and on his website it said 2 words: artist development. That's what I need. I'm just this girl that makes poems sing. I've played in bands, but this is something I do naturally, but I'm not used to being out in the world as an artist. And I don't play guitar, so I'm singing and somebody else is chording, and I need to not only develop my musical skills, but I also need to be able to step forward as an artist and figure out the business of music. Like, how do people make money at music? Who's making money? How are they doing it? So we started working on the album 2 years ago, and it's just being mixed and mastered now. So it's kind of a concept album called Diary of a Housewife.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So very true then.
Very true to life. Yeah, I wanted to sort of, I'm very inspired by people like Loretta Lynn. I wanted to take my life and my perspective and write it into song.
How does an artist go out and make money in this indie scene that's running around out in Edmonton and Alberta? You
collaborate first. I think that's really important. So for me as a singer, I'm reliant on other musicians and bandmates to sort of get my show going. So I just would always have my eye out for people that I could work with. If you want to do music, you have to be around music. You can't, for me especially in my circumstance, being at home raising kids, I had to consciously make an effort to leave the house once or twice a week to network and get to know people, and then just work on your show. And I look at the show the same way as songs, right? You work on your show, you also work on your songs. I spent 2 years in pre-production with Bobby, making sure that the songs were good enough. I mean, that's the whole thing. It's not, it's a process, and it's a craft, and it's finding that right word and finding the perfect phrasing, and deciding how to create dynamic, and when to, bring the pitch up and when to bring the pitch down, and when to get quiet and when to get loud. There's so many decisions that need to be made. And what kind of people you want on your album, what kind of instruments, what kind of feel. So I feel for me that is doing all the sort of behind the scenes work is a really important part that can't be neglected. Because when you take your songs, for myself, I've taken songs to radio, and when you do that, you're being played next to George Strait. It doesn't matter that you are indie. If your stuff doesn't sit next to that well, it's not going anywhere. So I think that's an important part of the process, finding a great team, great producer, great bandmates, people you respect that respect you, and then working it out and investing the time and the energy in doing that. The time and the energy is probably the most important part, right? Not being in a hurry to get things done, right? No, I mean, Bobby's got children, I've got children, he's got other clients. We had to make it work. I was teaching, I taught full-time for a semester in order to save the money for the album. I've tutored. I've done all sorts of things outside of raising my children in order to have money to put towards promotional things that I know I need in order to be bookable.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of sacrifices, a lot of, not getting that haircut, a lot of not going to that dinner, a lot of those sacrifices in order to have a product that you can share.
Yeah. And so when is the album coming out?
Well, September 2nd is where I want to release it. That's that'll be the 11 year anniversary of 11 year anniversary of my marriage to my husband. So the whole album sort of came about at a time when I was reflecting on what happened. You're adulting. You're trying to figure out what it's like to be an adult and still have yourself and still fit somewhere within your world. Yeah. And so the album came out of that experience. So I thought it would be really makes sense if I released it on our anniversary. And then that gives me that very important lead time between the completion of the album and releasing it publicly. Yeah. So that I can have a plan for the album, that I've got a publicist on board, that I've got a booking agent on board, that I've got all the pieces in place to make it as successful as it will or will not be. But I've done my part in getting it out in the world.
How are people going to find that album when it comes out?
They'll be able to find it on iTunes. But I think I'm just going to release it through all the... well, this is an interesting question because there's two ways I'm thinking of doing this. I'm almost looking at it as two different releases. So you have your physical release. Yeah. So the physical release I'll print off, I'm not sure if I'll do 500 or 1,000 copies, but I've got a wonderful graphic designer that I work with that I also often play with. His name is Charlie Vidiscombe, and he has created wonderful graphics for the album with some photography I had done by Candice Marshall. And so we've invested a lot of time in that, a lot of effort in that. So it's going to be a beautiful object in physical copy. But in my experience, physical copies get sold at shows. Yeah. Also through the mail. Like I've got some people that I've met through touring that have wanted a copy. So I said, okay, give me your address, send me $15 versus PayPal, and I will give you a free digital download of a third track, and I will send it to you so you can open your mail, and here's your album. Yeah. So there's mail-outs shows for the physical album. Now it's a world of singles. Yeah. So before this album, I released 2 singles in order to let people know that I'm out here making music. Yeah. So I feel like either every 2 to 3 months, I'll release another digital single. I don't really think there's any benefit in putting a whole album up digitally. Yeah. I think you get more benefit out of creating a video of some sort, having radio of some sort. Maybe it's college, maybe it's community, maybe you've got some more money, maybe you've got an investor and you can do commercial radio. But my goal with each song is to have sort of the 3-prong approach where I've got radio, I've got press, that's really an important part, and then I've got a music video. And that's how I release it online. Yeah. And that way I can take this album and release it over the next couple of years and be building my fan base all the while. Yeah. And the people that want it all now, they can get it through the mail-out system, or they can come to a show, which is a very important part of the career development as well. So I've just, it's an odd way of doing it in one way, but I think for me it makes most sense to release the album in 2 ways. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and it has to make sense to you, right? Yeah. It's your album, right? So it's got to be the way you want to do it, with the input from the people that you trust. Absolutely. That are helping you with that, right? Yes. So I think it's fantastic myself. So I searched you out on Facebook. Yep. So if people want to find you in social media now, I'm all over now. I've got a website, so AndreaNixon.com. I'm on Facebook under Andrea Nixon as well. Twitter, I'm Nixon.Andrea. You Twitter? I tweet. I'm a twit. And Instagram, Twitter, I'm Andrea Nixon Song. And Instagram, I'm Nixon.Andrea. So I make an appearance on all the platforms except for like Snapchat because I can't quite. Reverb Nation, are you? I have been in the past. I'm just kind of deciding what to do with that service moving forward with the album. Something that I like to get everybody to do is I like to get everybody to do a song. Sure. Right? So, and I think that's where musicians most at home anyways, is when we're doing what we do. Yeah. So I know that you have Cody with you. Yes, I do. And he's gonna come in and
and play some guitar.
Awesome.
What song are you going to do?
We're going to do Inner Glow, which is a song. I made up the word to title the song, which is funny because Bobby and I were talking about, we were in a writing session. I said, you know how when you love somebody, you know how they kind of light up? Like I remember the first time I saw my husband. I remember seeing him from across the room. And I said, I don't think anybody's written a song about that particular thing, what that looks like.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I don't think so either. So we sat there and like scratched it out and we came up with Inner Glow as 2 words in one. So it's kind of the song is that whole concept of following sort of the love that I felt for my husband and then seeing that same spark in my child, which is my boy. It's
Yeah.
Austin, who I'm just infatuated with because he's just my little firefly. He tries to curb he tries to hide his excitement, but he can't, and his lips go completely straight, and he turns completely flush. And it's the most endearing thing in the world. So that song is dedicated to my boys, which is my husband and my son.
All right. Well,
yeah.
Let's fire it up, and I'm
Sure.
going to listen.
There we go. Ready when you are.
Yep.
People gathered all around. Heaven knows it's Christian now. Many voices at a time, but a few she recognized. There's still stood up way too high, singing whiskey. As a sinner whiskey by her side. He walked by, tucked beneath his shine. No way to hide that love. On that day, we all stood around. Hush came running through the crowd. Morning came, we walked down the aisle. Santa Rose is by her side. He walked by, tucked beneath his shine. No way to hide that inner She watched him from across the way. She had brought him there today. In that boy she recognized the light she'd seen in Daddy's eyes. They go light with love. He walked by, tucked beneath his shine. No way to hide that inner love. Santa Rose is by her side. He walked by, tucked beneath his shine. No way to hide that inner love. Santa whiskey by her side. Smell the roses by her side.
I love that. That's awesome. That's just beautiful.
Thank you.
Very, very, very nicely done, Cody.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic guitar playing.
Oh, thank you.
Loved every bit of it. So, really quick,
Yeah, for sure.
while Cody's sitting here,
Yeah.
how long have the two of you been working together?
Last 6 months?
What was the gig with Candy Spring?
Yeah.
And that was July?
June.
Was June? Was it
We
June?
met in June.
June. And then
Yeah.
we started working together. The first gig was
Probably in July because we had that gig out at the acreage
at the Acreage.
where I wore the leather onesie.
Oh, that was
Too big
September.
hair. Oh, that was September.
Leather onesie, big hair.
Yeah, well, when I do the sort of top 40 thing, I do a different thing with myself physically because it helps me kind of step into that Joan Jett world,
Yep.
you know, versus my country world.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, September. I was playing bass.
Yeah.
Started my career with her playing bass, and I do that occasionally still.
Yeah.
But become more of an acoustic guitarist since then.
So Andrea, albums, if people want to purchase albums, pre-order albums,
Sure.
the new stuff, the old stuff, how do they go about that?
Okay, so they can get at me at www.andreanixon.com. There is a link to contact there, so that'll get them right to my email. So you can pre-order the album using PayPal. If you're not local and you can't get out to a show, my shows are always posted as well. But if you can't get out to a show, you can send $15 via PayPal to that email address, and you'll get a digital download of Song Without a Name, which is the next song that's coming out. And you will get, I'll ask you for your mailing address, and then I will send you out the physical copy of the album when it drops, which will be in September. And there'll be individual singles dropping throughout the next couple of years, but that'll be the only way to get them all now.
Okay, awesome. So, first off, thank you so much for your time.
Really
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Cody. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So if you're out there and you've watched this, make sure that you press the subscribe button and subscribe to the channel. That helps me to keep doing what I'm doing, so we can keep meeting with these people. If you have a question or anything you want to see on Indie Views, please leave us a note in the little spot there for leaving a note, and we'll see if we can't cover that. Remember, Indie Views, Indie always. You guys have a great day. Thanks again, you guys.